Welcome to the Campbell County Cooperative Extension Service. So glad to have you with me today. I'm going to be showing you a little bit about zucchini today. For the zucchini rosemary pizza, you will need 4 cups shredded zucchini. That's about 4 medium zucchini. A half a cup of mozzarella cheese. 1 teaspoon oregano. 1 egg. A half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a half red onion, small, 2 small tomatoes, 2 cloves of garlic, minced, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of fresh rosemary, minced, or 1 teaspoon dried rosemary, and a half a cup grated Parmesan cheese. First of all, I'm going to try to show you how to make the crust of the zucchini pizza, and it's a little trick to it. So what I want to do is I'm going to start off, and I've pre-prepped, hopefully you'll be able to see this. I pre-prepped a lot of the zucchini because I didn't want you to have to wait for me to shred a whole lot of it. So what I've done is just done about 3 of them. I've shredded them already. And then I'm going to take and just kind of slice off my zucchini. Move that out of the way so you can see it. Slice off the ends of the zucchini. Okay, just going to kind of, it's already been cleaned. I've washed it real well with warm water. So I've got it. And I'm actually going to kind of cut it in half because I work better like that. So I'm going to cut it in half, pull my spoon out here, and then I'm going to just shred this using the large size of the shredder. And I'm going to just do it like that because I want not real tiny pieces, but I want some pieces just like this. And I'm going to be real careful if you're doing this at home. Trying this recipe after today, be real careful not to get your fingers in there because it is easy. You'll say, no, I won't do that, but I've done it, and knowing better, I have done it. So be real careful and get it down just maybe to a slice and then stop, okay? So you don't want to get your fingers in there. You don't want to get your nails in there and chop them all up as well, okay? So I'm going to do the other end, or the other half of my zucchini, leaving that peel on because that peel has lots of nutrients in it that we want, beta carotene. Okay, so we're going to leave that on. We're just going to shred this up. Again, be careful with those fingers, especially if you're on any kind of blood thinner or anything like that. You don't want to get cut. Okay, so I'm finished with that. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of use the back end of my knife and just kind of get every bit of that off. And kind of get inside of my shredder here and get every bit of that zucchini out. And then you will come up with this, a lot of zucchini, about 4 cups is what we're starting with for the recipe. And with zucchini, you're going to have a lot of water, okay? There's a lot of water. So what you want to do, you can actually do this, probably an easier way is using a cheesecloth. And you'll take and put your zucchini in a cheesecloth and you'll just kind of squeeze and let that water drain. I also do it another way. And I just take a colander and just kind of put it over into the colander and let it drain out as well. I think I got most of the water out. But then I'll take my spoon and just continue to move that water out, okay? And maybe doing that over another bowl or over the sink where you can kind of get that out, okay? So you want to get all that water out of the crust because this is going to be your crust. Okay, and I'm going to put it right back into the bowl and try to get every little bit of zucchini and put it back into the bowl. here so we can move on with making our crust. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some mozzarella cheese. Okay. And then I have some oregano. I'm gonna kind of stir as I'm pouring my ingredients in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of oregano in there. Stir that up. It's easier as you add. Okay. Just kind of add that in there. Right, and then I'm going to take an egg. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. And then this is where you want to do a lot of stirring because you want to get that egg all mixed up in together with that with the zucchini and your other ingredients. Okay, so you're going to really get that in there and get it stirred up as well. I'm going to use a little bit of salt and pepper, and I've already mixed those two together just to save some time. If you are on a salt restricted diet and you want to leave that salt out, you most certainly can do that. Make it a little bit of healthier version of that, and just leave that salt out. Okay. Right. Get it all mixed up real nicely. And then I have a square, what is a cookie sheet, and I'm going to just use a cookie sheet. I baked another one earlier and I put it on a round pan, but I'm going to just use a cookie sheet because sometimes we have pizzas that are square. So just kind of letting you kind of be creative with that at home. So I'm just going to kind of spray that with a little bit of cooking spray, just a tiny bit. Move that over out of the way. And then once you get this all mixed up, you're going to pour it out. I say pour it out. Put it out onto your pan. Okay. And then you can just kind of take your spoon. If you're at home with your family, you're just making it for your family, take your fingers in there, get it in there, and use your fingers and pat that dough. You're going to call it a dough. It's a zucchini dough, I guess. So we're going to pat that all out. Okay, I'm going to place that over to the side out of the way, hopefully. Pull this over so we can see it. And again, you're going to kind of pat it out with either your fingers or your spoon. You want to get it out there to about probably ½ an inch, maybe ½ an inch thick. Okay. So, and then you can kind of maybe make it into a square. Okay. All right. So a little bit different because it is. It's not that crust dough like that bread dough. It is actually made, from zucchini. So it's a little bit different there. We'll see later on with a finished product that we'll probably want to use maybe a fork with it to get every little drop, every little bit of zucchini. So that's what you do with the dough. Okay, and then you're going to place this in the oven for about 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, and you're going to tell, and you're going to see with the one that I already have made, that around the edges will brown up real nicely, and that's what you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this right back here behind me, get it out of the way, and then I'm going to show you the one that I made earlier. Okay, and you can see you're going to get a lot of browning around the edges, and that's what you want. It's kind of nice, and just kind of not to burn it on top or anything, but just to get those browned edges. Okay, so that's nice. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, move these things out of the way and show you the process of creating the pizza. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have our nice dough already made out of our zucchini, so we're going to call it a zucchini dough. And then what we're going to do is take olive oil, and we're going to take some garlic. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my spoon from over here. Forgot where I put it. And I'm just going to put that, mix it in together. Makes it easier. Okay. And then I'm going to take my rosemary. Okay. So it's zucchini rosemary pizza. So I'm going to go ahead and what I've done is I've minced that up. Okay. So I'm just taking my rosemary. Love that fresh rosemary and that smell. I'm going to take that off, and I'm just going to kind of show you how you're going to pull that off there, and then you're going to take your knife and just mince it. Okay, that's mincing it, and you're just going to keep working with it until it gets just real tiny and minced, as I have it in this bowl. Okay, so we're going to put that in there, and then I'm just going to take my brush here and kind of get it mixed up. Okay. I'm going to move my pan back over so you can see real well. Okay, do that right here. Get it mixed up real well, and then you're just going to take it and brush it on top, okay? It's nice. Get it all brushed on top and get it smoothed out there, okay? So, yeah, and you might get maybe hunks here and maybe a hunk there, but just kind of go back in there with the brush and just keep brushing it around and getting all of the crust brushed with the olive oil and the rosemary and garlic. Okay. That's about 2 cloves of garlic. If you want a little less, you certainly can put a little less on there or more if you like a lot of garlic. Okay. So just fun to be, when I have my cooking classes here at the Extension Service, I just tell people to have fun with it. You might read the recipe and it says a certain way, and these recipes have been tried and they're tested, but the nice part about it is that you can get in the kitchen and just have fun and be creative. Make it your own, okay? So that's what I always tell my students, okay? So there we go. We've got that all brushed out, ready with that. And then we're going to go in, and I just went in and made my onions. You can certainly leave them in slices, but I diced them up a bit more. And same goes with onions as it does with garlic or anything. You can choose. This is about 1/2 of a small onion. Looks like quite a bit. My small onion might have been more toward the medium, so kind of got to take a look at that. So I'm just going to kind of spread that all on here. Okay. I'm going to use it all up and get it all on there. All right, okay. And then I'm going to, and you can do your tomatoes, you can dice those up, chop them up, however you'd like. I just left them in slices because I think that's kind of neat for a pizza, okay? So I'm just gonna lay them on there for a slice. And I have made this pizza several times, and I have chopped them up and diced them as well. So this time I thought I would try something a little bit different and just kind of makes a nice pizza, the look of the pizza a little nicer. Okay, so we're going to do it like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I have all my ingredients on there. I'm going to stick it back in the oven for about 10 minutes. And again, you want to time that and make sure that it doesn't get too brown or anything. So we're going to stick it back there about 10 minutes, and then we're going to pull it out, and then we'll add some Parmesan cheese to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in the oven. So we have that in the oven, so I'm gonna, while that's cooking for about 10 minutes, and we'll kind of check maybe if we get done a little bit earlier, but while that's in the oven, what I'm gonna do is kind of go over just some tips about zucchini, because this time of year, we're either getting lots of zucchini from our gardens, or our neighbors or family or friends are giving us some zucchini because they're pretty abundant. So I want to show you. I always get some calls about how can I, what can I do with my zucchini? I don't want to let it waste. We can't eat it all, whatever. So I'm just kind of show you some tips about that. First of all, I'll talk a little bit about nutrition aspect of zucchini. So when I ask my students in my class or participants, I ask them, what about the nutrition of the zucchini? What do you think? And most always they say, low in calories, no fat. So that's a nice thing about it. Also vitamin A and C, so we have to think about that. They're abundant in vitamin A and C, and then fiber, and then as I said before, just leaving the peel on if you can. I like to slice mine up, maybe eating it with hummus or eating it as a side. Instead of eating potato chips with my sandwich, I eat, zucchini slices. So just leaving that peel on and getting all of those nutrients that are in the peel, okay? So that's something to think about. And then moving on to just trying to think about selection when you go to the store, when you go to the farmer's market, even in the garden. You're getting them from your garden, harvesting them from your garden. You have to remember that you want to pick them when they're small and they're tender. Okay, so no more than around 6 to 8 inches, no more than 8 inches. So this one's probably about 6.5. This one's more like 8. So, so small and tender. And then when you're looking at them and you're trying to select them, making sure, I can see some blemishes on here, and you know, they probably will have some, but the less blemishes are better. So making sure there's no big places in them, bad spots, and that they're glossy. They're sort of, or they're fairly heavy for their size. So you kind of want to feel that, okay? So, and I can kind of tell that with this one. It's sort of heavy for its size. So about 6 to 8 inches. Okay, so I said that I just like to pop them in my mouth and eat them with a hummus or whatever. So just kind of taking this when you, and before you know, if I bring it home from the store and I just want to store it in the refrigerator for a few days so that I can eat off of them, I just want to wash them real good with warm water or water out of the tap. Just want to wash them and then just put them in a bag and keep them for about 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator. You probably want to go ahead and eat them up within about 2 to 3 days. Okay, so just taking those ends off, and I'll show you a little bit about freezing them. Okay, so you want to freeze them. If you're not going to make zucchini bread, and you most certainly can do that, makes great zucchini bread, or if you're not going to do that, then you want to get them frozen, and that way you can have them for later on. Okay, so what you want to do is just take and cut them, and I'm going to take and cut mine maybe about a1/2 inch, somewhere around in there. Okay, and I'm only going to do just a little bit here, just so that I can show you how to wrap them. Okay, so I'm going to put that over to the side and just going to use this for an example. I'm going to kind of move over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a blanching process, and you're just going to take a large, there is such a pan as a blanching pan. This is one of my favorites. It's actually from my house. It's kind of worn a bit, but I love when I get kind of married to certain tools and pans of the kitchen because I use them a lot. But this is what I use to prepare vegetables and stuff in it. It's got a nice perforated pan that goes down into my other pan, and I already have my water in there. So I'm going to boil this, bring it to a nice boil, and then I'm going to place my vegetables in, okay? And I'm going to put a lid on it. And for zucchini, you're going to blanch it for about 3 minutes, okay? So you're going to get that blanching process done. And what that does is it's going to stop that growing process, okay? It's going to stop the growing process, and it's going to prepare your vegetables to be nice qualities while it's being frozen so that you can have it for later use. After you've done that, you're going to, and we're just going to pretend, we're going to put a little bit of cold water in my bowl, and I'm going to place some ice in there. So we're going to put a little bit of ice in there. We're going to cool that water down, you know, just cold, very, very cold. And then we're going to take after 3 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get our zucchini out. We're going to put it in ice water, okay? Make sure you do this process because this is what's going to stop the cooking process, okay? So this, you're going to put it in ice water, and you're going to keep it in there until it gets cooled down, okay? And you're going to stop that cooking process. And then after that, I have my towel here. I'm going to move that up a little bit. I'm going to just take my zucchini, and of course you're going to have a lot more than that. I'm just using this as an example just to kind of show you. And we're going to pull our zucchini out. We're going to let them air dry like that. And just dry for a few minutes. Let them dry for a few minutes. Okay, and then after that happens, then we can get them ready for putting them in the freezer, okay? And this is just how I do it because I like the extra protection, making sure that they stay good quality. So I've got one here already wrapped, but I'm gonna just kind of show you how I do it, okay? So probably need more hands than I have to do it, but I'm just gonna grab these. And this is called a butcher wrap, and it's especially for odd-shaped, weird-shaped items maybe. This may fall down or whatever and kind of give me an odd-shaped package. So you're just gonna kind of roll it up like that. You're gonna fold both ends over. Okay. Fold this end over. Just gonna kind of wrap it around. And then you're going to take the other end and just continue to wrap around until you come to the end of that point. Okay, and then you're just going to take some tape. This is, looks like masking tape, but it's not. It is a freezer tape, and you can find it at discount stores. Some grocery stores will have it. So just make sure that the container that it comes in says freezer tape, and then you're going to put it on there. You probably want to put a longer piece on there, like this, so that you can do like I did and put your whatever that food is. So zucchini, you're going to write that on there, zucchini, and then put the date on there as well, because that way you'll know when you wrapped it. Okay. And then you're going to put this in, this is again just the way it can go in the freezer like this, but I like a little bit of double protection, so I put it in my bag, and I can probably put several of them in there, okay? So I can pull them out of the freezer, thaw them out, and eat them as I wish, okay? And so you can freeze those. And these can be frozen up to, you know, like 8 to 12 months, okay? Anything past that, you're gonna lose some quality there, so you want to go ahead and eat those things up. Okay. Okay, I think I hear my oven, and I think that it's time for the pizza to come out. So if you'll excuse me, I'll grab that out. Okay. So we have a little bit, and I'm glad that this happened, because we have a little bit more browning around the edges, because again, that is just, if you think about it, this is a tender crust. It is vegetable crust, okay? And there's certainly nothing at all wrong with that brownness around there. But you know what? If you're like me, you have people in your family that will not want their crust brown. They're gonna want it, you know, not as brown, but that's okay. That's what makes us different, and that's great. So they can certainly have the inside, but the brown crust on the outside is something that I just think is wonderful. It smells good and it tastes good, but know that if you have maybe children or something like that, they may not want that. There's another option if you want to put some aluminum foil over the top of it. That would be nice as well, just knowing that your vegetables may take a little bit longer to get, you know, to cook or whatever. So if you want to do that, that's fine too. You can put some aluminum foil over the top if you want to save getting it too brown, okay? And then I'm just going to take, and I just have some Parmesan cheese, and what you're going to do is just kind of sprinkle that over top of it. It does not have to go back into the oven. It's done. Again, if you have some picky eaters that does not like that Parmesan cheese, you can leave it off theirs. I'm always trying to please everybody and take care of everybody's needs and their food taste and everything. Okay, so we're just going to put that on top, and we'll leave a little bit in case somebody else wants some extra. Okay. Okay, so that is your zucchini rosemary pizza. I hope you try it at home. I hope you enjoy. If you want a nice recipe card, we have recipe cards here at the Extension office. Please phone our office at 859-572-2600, and we will get that mailed out to you. Also check out our website.